Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to There's No Crying in Crochet. This is the podcast where we try to take your everyday frustrations and give you some handy tips to go along with it and take that frustration right out of your crocheting. Because even though we do cry sometimes when there's no, when we're crocheting, we believe there's no crying in crochet. Anyway, so I am Biz from Busy Crochet, and this is my cohort.
I am Debbie from Madam Stitch.
And we thank you so much for joining us today. All right. So if you are following us on YouTube today, make sure that you like and subscribe and do all the clicking and so that you can follow us. We are trying to put up new videos on a regular basis, not just the lives, but other projects and things like that. I know that Debbie's been hot and heavy on her cowl with the square videos and stuff like that every week. And today was the last. Was today the last?
Today was the
video
last
for that?
square.
The last
but
square.
on Monday
Uh-huh.
we're assembling our blankets and seaming them together.
Nice.
And I have a great video I just loaded about how to slip stitch seam either
Okay.
on the right side of the fabric or the wrong side of the fabric. So that one
Nice.
is up. And then on Wednesday, we are putting a granny stitch border on our blanket. So I'll have a video up for that.
Oh,
And
that's
I've been
very
releasing patterns as well. I didn't used to do tutorials, but getting into it. So
They are handy
just
little
really,
things, aren't they?
they are handy things. So I've been doing a lot of filming this week, and there's going to be a hot ton of videos coming out next week. So just hold on to your hats.
Yeah, that's exciting. I have not really been doing anything, but I will say this. I got one thing accomplished this week that I'm really proud of. I finally located and wrote up a pattern that I've been talking about for about a year and a half. So progress.
Ooh.
And that's a good place to be. But so yeah, and moving on. If you're following us on Facebook, make sure that you give StreamYard the permission to see your name so that we can see your name so we can say hi back. And we love
Exactly.
talking with you guys. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section and we will do our very best to catch up with you and answer those comments and questions. Alrighty. So this has been a funky week. What have you been up to, Miss Deb?
Well, mostly crochet. I'm just going to put it
You've been
right
a
out
busy girl.
there. October has just kicked my little crochet butt.
Oh no.
That puts me in my happy place. I'm so happy. I started a new design this week with some gorgeous yarn I
Oh
got
yeah.
last year at Rhinebeck. It's just absolutely stunning. One of my favorite independent dyers is Miss Babs from North
Oh
Carolina.
yes, I followed her. Yeah.
I was this close to going to Rhinebeck on Sunday because it's just
Oh
a couple of
wow.
hours from here, just
Yeah.
that close. But I realized just as I was about to get in the car that I had stuff that had to be done earlier in this week than I thought. So I decided not to go, even though it was the perfect fall day. And I'm looking longingly at the pictures. But I decided to pull out some yarn that I had bought last year at Rhinebeck and create a cowl. So that's actually coming
Nice.
out in November. And then lots of high school band and football. Just a
So
lot
you
of high
can really
school
feel
band
good
and
about,
football.
even though you didn't get to go to Rhinebeck, you still get to touch something from Rhinebeck. So I mean, you kind of have that little connection, and that's a good thing.
I'm going to tell you, if you have never tried Miss Babs yarn, yes, it's a little pricey, but I'm going to say my favorite yarn is the Yowza. I love that name. Yowza. It is a DK weight superwash merino wool that is just buttery soft. Holy cow. And this is going to sound like a lot of money, but for $52, you get 560 yards. 560. That's
That's not
enough to
bad.
make a very generous scarf or a shawl or something.
Mm-hmm.
So these are actually little minis. So I'm combining a couple of colors to make this cowl. But I love the Yowza DK weight. It's just so gorgeous.
Shout out to you, Miss Babs.
Yeah.
And so just saying hi to Carolina from Sweden. Just wanted to make sure that we touch and base with you. Thank you for joining us. You're always so faithful to be here. Um, but
All right, Biz,
today,
what have you been
oh
up
yeah, my
to?
week.
Oh, this has been, you know what? I'm just so sorry. You just had
It's like,
the, it
do we
never
even
stops.
do we even talk about? Okay, so it's
No, we
literally my
don't.
last week. It's my last week of this term for English and history. Thank you, Jesus. Um, all the final projects have been handed in, all of that stuff. So
Yay.
I only had
Oh,
one
that's so
discussion
awesome.
question I had to post and answer. And so I was waiting till Wednesday. I was going to sit down and I was going to do all my reading, all that stuff. My first, literally the first thing after I got up out of my bed and I got dressed and I came out to the kitchen and I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab that bowl from the office that I left from my lunch the day before, and I'm going to take it into the kitchen and I'm going to put it on the counter. And I went to sit down on my little rolly chair that I have in the kitchen that I zoom around the kitchen with, and the thing went out from underneath me, and I landed square on my hips, and I've been in bed for days, with ice and ibuprofen, and so that's been my week. And I haven't been able, like, the pain has been too intense to do anything else. I finally did leave my bedroom last night and I made it out into the living room to at least have dinner with the family. And then I went right back to bed. And so I just, it's me in the ice bag this week. And I am going to see the doctor. So, I mean, I'm not, you know, um, I don't know what the word is. Not doing that. I just haven't gone yet. I have to get myself to a place where I can actually get into the car and sit in the car long enough to get to the chiropractor to be seen, because the pain level right now is just too much. But I'm able to sit in my office chair in just so of a position that I can be here for this right now. As soon as this is over, it's me in the ice bag again. So
Well, we
so
celebrate that
anyway,
you're here.
that's
We miss you when you're not.
thank you. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some fun stuff today. Let's move.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
move on. Let's not talk about that anymore. We are going to talk about the tools that we find when we are cleaning and organizing our craft rooms. And a lot of times we will run into things that we're like, oh my God, I've had this for years and years. Maybe we've never touched it. Maybe it's still in the package. I mean, I know I've got a couple of those that are flying around this room somewhere. Maybe we found something that was given to us. I've got something I'm going to show you that I inherited from my grandma, and I found it in her little junk bag that was sitting on the shelf. And maybe you're finding things that you just have not done anything with. Now's the time to learn. This is a good opportunity. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And
Yeah, we're
I know that,
excited to show you those things that we
yes, Debbie's
found.
got some great
Or
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
All right, Miss Debbie. I see on our list of things that you
Oh,
have
are we
a
gonna start with
knitting
me?
kit.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're gonna
So
start with
I
oh,
don't
oh,
real oh, okay.
that's right. You
We
wanted
don't,
me to my 'cause I only have my one little thing.
that's all right. I'll monopolize things. Okay. So I'm sure that when I was going to my local yarn shop called the Knitter's Edge, or I was at one of these fiber festivals, I saw this nifty little kit of gadgets. It's like Go
Yes.
Go Inspector Gadget. I mean, that's literally what this thing is. It's called the Knit Kit. Now you can't see the name, but it's engraved right there.
I just love it. It's
It
so cute.
really, I know, right? It's kind of for knitters, but it can be used for crocheters. I want to show you the back
Uh-huh.
side first. It's got this nifty little door, and if you open that door, it has now these are knitters stitch markers. If you put this
Mm.
in your crochet, you'd have to cut it out because it will be there permanently,
I'll
right?
never get it back.
I'm going to see if I can show you the back
Mhm.
of this, but this is the back. So where I have my fingers, where the stitch markers are, and you've got a pair of craft scissors. Probably not the best craft scissors on the planet, but they work in a pinch. that's the back side.
But they are
The
better than
front
having to
side
gnaw your yarn apart.
Oh, I've been there, done that, and it's not a pretty thing, and I've ended up, not to be indelicate, with fibers between my teeth. That's just really gross.
Yes.
Okay, right?
I think we've
Now,
all
I
done
know
it.
that knitters drop stitches, so they've included, for us crocheters, this looks like a creepy little crochet hook, but it's curved
Yes.
so that, see the hook there? So that you can pick up dropped stitches. That just sits in the side right here, just clips in, and it's gone. See, there it is. All right,
I
then,
think you curved it so that it would fit.
isn't it wonderful? Okay, so up here we have a stitch counter, and it's got several features, so it's hard for me to reach. Inside here, you have a wheel that moves the numbers not very easily. There's one over here for the tens or the ones, whatever that is. But if I'm in the middle of working, I can just do this and it changes the number. And if I want to stop, I push this up and it locks it so that I can't change the number and I don't forget where I am.
Oh,
It's a nifty
nice.
little thing.
Nice.
What else do we have here?
I think there
Oh,
was one other thing on there, wasn't
this
there?
there are two things. This thing right here that I'm
Oh,
pulling
yeah.
out right now, and I don't want to cut my finger because I think this is a yarn slicer. All right, it won't come
Oh,
out,
nice.
but yeah, so a thread slicer. So right here, you see, you can slice the thread right there. And that just pokes in there. And the best part, there's a tape measure right there with a handy dandy little button to pull it in.
It's like the
I know.
trapper keeper of the knitting world.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, go, Mr. Gadget. There we go. So that's the knit kit.
Yes.
I'm all right, Biz.
Oh, fun.
Quiz time.
Yep.
Do you know what this is?
My one thing that I found in my grandma's, I was showing Debbie, I have this bag of grandma stuff that I inherited, and she's got, old hooks and all that stuff in here, but the one thing that I found in there that's really cool, I'm not sure if they're even available like this anymore, but these are bobbins that you can use for yarn.
Oh yeah.
That you would wrap around this side and then use this to hook to your project. And
Sweet.
I found a bunch of them, and they were apparently $1 at whatever garage sale she picked them up at. So
that's
yeah, a little
awesome.
bit of grandma history there.
All right, are you ready for a quiz, Biz?
I am ready for a quiz.
Do you know what this is?
Knitting needle sizer.
Yeah, so you can use it for hooks as
I
well.
think.
So this, yes, you can. All right, which way is up? Here we go.
Okay.
And the title on it is Size Matters. Isn't that cute? All right. This is a 5mm hook. So let's see. All right, so there we go. It fits through the 5mm.
Oh, and it actually fits in there.
It's too loose in
Okay.
the 5.5, and it doesn't go through the 4.5. This is the
Nice.
5mm. Notice it stops when you get to the thumb hold. So that's how you tell what size it is. Now, it gets a little trickier when you've got a crochet hook like this. Knitting needles don't have the ergonomics, and they're just, once you get past the point, they're all the same. So this one is a 5.5. Let's see what happens here. Oh, the hook fits through. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it fits through enough. That's about, right there is about where the size of your hook is determined anyway.
Sure.
So that goes through the 5.5. It's too loose in the 6.
Right.
And it doesn't even approach going through in the 5. So it's really pretty accurate.
That's pretty handy.
Pretty cool. And along with that, I got this one from, it was, I think, some tchotchkes that got put into a yarn box that I happened to buy. But then when I was in London, I got, you know what this is? Does everybody know what this is?
Ooh, okay. So
Check for you.
I'm thinking that that is a gauge sizer.
Sweet. 4 inches,
Yes.
4 inches up. And actually, this, where I just pointed, this is centimeters. So everything that
Uh-huh.
looks really close together, that's centimeters, right?
Yeah,
These are inches.
sure.
These are inches over here. And
Very
if you place this on your fabric in the center of the gauge swatch, it will accurately measure how many stitches across and how many
nice.
rows equals 4 inches. And you'll notice on the bottom, it has those needle sizes,
Yes. I need to start
just
investing
in
in some
case.
things.
This is one of my faves. I use this one all the time. So
Fun.
that's something you may find in your stuff, especially these little guys. I know subscription boxes and stuff like that really like to put little tchotchkes in theirs. And this is a perfect one.
Mhm.
So it gets tossed into a box and then I never see it again, but that's okay. All right. Got that. Do you have anything else to show? Or any
I
other
don't.
tool
I
that
mean, like
you
the only other
have?
thing that I had was one of these little
Ooh,
fiber. You know where you have a sweater and it's all pilly. You can use it to
yep.
take the pills off of your knitted or crocheted goods. That's the only other
Oh, that's
tchotchke
really
that I found.
helpful.
Yeah, that's an oldie too.
Okay.
My
I've
mom
got a
used to
fun
have
one.
one that was battery operated and electric, and she used to because in the
Oh,
80s, you
yeah.
remember we used to just wear the sweaters all the time, those big
Yep.
oversized ones. That woman was in there deballing her sweaters constantly.
Well, do you remember the shavers? They were about yay big, and they were little fat things that had a rotary blade,
Yes.
and you would run that along your sweater or your fabric, and it would collect all the little fibers in a clear receptacle at the bottom. I actually still
Okay.
have those. They
Oh
don't
my
work very
goodness.
well. Just gotta say, they don't work very well, but they were a great idea, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. They seemed like a great idea.
Yes.
All right. Every once in a while, I make pom-poms, as we all do, and I tend not to be very organized with them. So this
Yeah.
is my storage system for my
Nice.
pom-pom makers. Um, and I actually haven't done one in such a long time that I'd have to refresh my memory, but I'm gonna use the little guy. So this actually comes apart, right? So it looks like
Okay.
this. It has bumps on this side,
Yeah.
no bumps on this side, and the other piece of it looks the same. What you
Yes.
do is you line up the bumps opposite from each other because
Okay.
that's what's going to hold your yarn in place as you wind it around. So what you do is you start on one side and you wrap the yarn around
Yes.
until it's even with that line right there. You
Right.
carry your yarn over and do the other side the same way, so
Yeah.
that when you put it together like so,
Uh-huh.
and then clip these little things closed to hold your yarn. Now, these things won't come apart once you've got yarn on them.
Right. Right.
And you clip these things closed to hold the yarn, because now what you're going to do is run your scissors around the edge and cut
Mhm.
those pieces of yarn,
Mhm.
right? And then I forget how
The
I
yeah,
fastened
you keep your
on.
string because
The string has to
it
be
goes
in
up
here
the
somewhere.
center.
Yeah,
Yep.
it goes up
And
the
you
center before you
once you
start wrapping it.
does it?
Does
'Cause
it?
once it's cut, it still stays together. You just take your yarn and go in there and you tie it off, and then you pop it out of the hole.
Yeah. So when you're done cutting it, you just undo those guys,
Yeah.
pop it open, and your pom-pom floats out just like magic. And then you have to trim all the edges, but that's kind of fun. I did one, I have to show you this. I have a scarf that I did a yarn pom-pom for, and I think I used this one, which is
Oh
the
my
largest
goodness.
size, right?
Yes.
And oh my goodness, I think it used almost a skein of yarn to make that pom-pom. Whoa, it was
Wow.
hideously yarn eater. Oh my gosh. So
That's
I don't do
funny.
pom-poms and tassels very often, but when
I
I
don't either.
do, I actually bought fur fabric, and I know how to make a pom-pom from scratch, a fur pom-pom from scratch. You
Okay.
actually just take the figure out how big you want your pom-pom to be, and you figure out the circumference. Cut a big circle out of the fabric.
Sure.
Run a basting thread along the edge,
Okay.
and then start to pull that closed, and as it gets more closed, you
Um,
stuff it with stuffing. You know how
you know
pom-poms sometimes can be really heavy?
Yes.
When you stuff them with fiber fill, they're really light. And then you
Yes.
just pull that basting thread really closed,
Uh-huh.
and that can be what you use to sew the pom-pom on the hat or whatever you're
So do you
using that
use like a
pom-pom
quilting
for.
thread or a stronger thread for that than
I
you would
usually
normal?
just regular sewing thread, but I double
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And then I secure it again, I'll sew across,
Sure.
after I pulled that close, I'll sew across the hole to get it really tight and
Uh-huh.
secure.
I
And then
wondered
I
how
use
people
that.
made those.
Well, I don't know if that's I think I watched a YouTube video, and that's
Uh-huh.
how they did it. So, that's how I do mine. So, alright, are you ready for another fun one?
I am.
Okay.
Do tell.
Do tell? Okay.
Do tell.
Our DIY method of making tassels, right? So you get a book
Yes.
or you get a piece of cardboard cut to the size that
I
you
hate
want,
making
and you
tassels.
cut. I know, right? So you lay a piece of yarn across the top of that cardboard or book. Then you wrap the yarn so many times around the book or the piece of cardboard, and then you cut the end that's opposite that piece of yarn. You cut the end open, and once you have to be really, you tie that up there. Once you remove it from the book or piece of cardboard, you have to be really careful because you just
So
I've
you
had
don't
this happen
unravel
to me.
everything.
They lots of little pieces of yarn just floating down, but then you tie it at the top. Well, guess
Yes.
what I found? I
I
bought
need
a
one of
tassel.
these.
I know, I bought a tassel maker, and this is what it looks like. Right here, that's the back side. The front
So
side is
simple.
this. Right? These are adjustable, so if I make it this size, that's how big my tassel is gonna be, but I can extend it all the way
Nice.
out here, and then I screw these in tight. I'm not gonna do it now, but you screw them in tight so that doesn't move, right? Now, you're gonna wrap your yarn around this. I'll show you the instructions because they're way better than looking at me. All right, here are the instructions. So, I've adjusted my tassel
Yes.
maker to the size I want. Then I'm going to
Wrap.
start wrapping. Then I tie that around the middle. So that's equivalent to the yarn that sits at the top of the cardboard or the book.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
going to use the middle. Then over here, you cut, there's a groove at the top where you can run
Okay.
your scissors underneath the yarn that you've wrapped around. You cut one end. Oh, I guess you cut both ends, right? Because your tie is right there in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then you take another piece of yarn and you tie it around the top to make your
The
tassel.
Yes. Okay. It sounds so
Mhm.
much more simple than my method, which is
Well,
chaos.
tassels are not fun to make. I'm just going to put it out there. I just do not enjoy making tassels. So
Yeah.
you don't see them on my stuff. Either
Yeah.
that or I buy it pre-made.
The last thing that I put tassels on was my swimsuit cover up that came out in July. And that
Ooh, yeah.
I didn't really intend for them to be tassels. They were more like you know how when you do what's that word where you latch hook. And so I would bring the whole thing up and then I would wrap everything around the hook and then bring it through the loop. So I didn't really make tassels, but it was more like fringe. But that was just, yeah, that was a lot. I don't like doing that either.
I I'll tell you what, if they had a machine for fringe, I'd be all over it because fringe
Right?
is a pain in the rear end.
What we
Absolutely.
should do is
All right.
buy our fringe in the home goods section of Joann's and just sew it
Ooh,
on the bottom.
yeah, that and pom-poms. Can do that with
Yes, make
pom-poms.
life easier.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. My next fun tool, and I have a fun story about this one. So
Oh,
every
cool.
Christmas, I give my husband a list. I mean, God love him. He does a really good job of stuffing my stocking, but the big stuff, he's got no clue. And the older I get, there's just not a whole lot of stuff I need. So I'll get
Yeah.
pretty specific. And one year, I went ahead and bought a neck lamp and gave it to him and said, "Give this to me." So he did. He wrapped it and he gave it to me. It was great. I put it somewhere and couldn't find it for almost a year. I knew
Oh
I
no.
had bought it. Now, you don't know my living room. If you look at some of my product photos, you see my living room facing the piano.
Uh-huh.
Um, I have a shelf of music right next to it at the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me look, but I looked on that shelf, and for some reason, I had put this light right here, on the shelf. It was fully I was in the mode for the next Christmas thinking, "Well, if I can't find it, I'm gonna ask him to give it to me again."
Oh,
And
hilarious.
there it was. Alright, this is great. This thing is great. This one
Yes.
happens to be the Lumos, but you can find these anywhere. They're great.
Yeah.
This one happens to charge. Let's see where it is. Okay, right there is the hookup for the charge, right? So it charges, and I think this one is charged, but you basically this saves me because our power keeps going out just randomly,
Yeah.
which is odd because all of our lines are underground. So thanks, electric company. But anyway,
Right?
I just get so irritated. Yes, the electricity went out again, and it's just our street where all the lines are buried. Thank you so much. But
Right?
this little handy dandy thing, it's got a control on each side.
Yes, I have one too. It's not
Okay, we're not gonna.
it's not
Oh,
quite the same as yours, but
so this is full
they are
on. It's got a
so
yellow light
handy.
and a white light. If I press it again, I get just the yellow
Oh,
light, kind
fancy.
of ambient light. And then if I press it again, I get just the white light or blue
Oh,
light, and then it turns off. And that's I'm sorry if
no,
it's
that's not
dark and it's not
it's
my
that
bedtime. I
that
need to
truck
crochet.
LED light. When you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you're blind.
I know, right? So the last time the electricity went out, I went to grab this and I couldn't find it. I found it, but it was dead. So I'm still
Oh, no.
sitting in the dark. And so I can't charge it up because we have no electricity, right?
That's
So
hilarious.
I'm still so now it sits wrapped around the table next to my chair. And I check it every now and then just to make sure that it's still fully charged.
Yep.
I'll be darned, I'm not gonna get caught again.
I was
Nope.
gonna say, it's like the one thing I bought it for, and I can't even use it.
And here we are. Well, you know, apparently the electricity doesn't go out often enough for me to keep it charged. That's
Yeah.
not the case anymore. Oh my goodness. All right. I've got another one, a fun one for you.
It's kind of
Okay.
like our
Y'all know
internet
I'm
here. It's all underneath ground, and yet it's crappy. It's really bad.
well, our internet is also underground. Don't get me started. But when this neighborhood was built in the 70s, they were still, in fact, you can just go two houses down to the end of the street,
Oh,
and there are light poles that
oh,
are right to every house you get the electricity.
Okay.
But starting with our street, which runs north-south, and that one runs east-west, there are about 3 streets in the neighborhood where they actually buried the electrical wires. So
So
the
do you not
electricity
have,
I
like,
have
street
no
lights?
wires. No, we don't have streetlights. No.
Really?
It's no. No, we do not have streetlights. It's a very dark street, but lots of
Wow.
people have lights on. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very private neighborhood, so it's not gated. Don't
Oh,
We're not
girl,
living
come
in
on,
that
tell
kind of
me all about it.
no, it's not. No, we don't have street lamps, but they have electrical poles just
Mhm.
2 houses down. All right, here's my next one, Biz. You ready?
Yes.
Another fun story. I got all the stories today.
That's good.
Um,
We don't
all
usually get
right,
to hear
I'm the
from them
grand
because Biz talks too much.
no, you take it, girlfriend. All right, so I'm the granny square queen.
Yes.
I don't block everything that I do. I'm just gonna admit it. The way I make granny squares, generally, I don't really need to block them too much,
Yeah.
but when I do, I bought this fancy blocking board. Check it out. This is
Beautiful.
handmade, right?
Beautiful.
And it
Mhm.
comes with these metal pieces that you basically put them into the holes to the size of your granny square.
Right.
And then, you can spray each one and then stack another one on top, or you can
Sure.
get them wet, put them on there, and dry them. Here's the fun story. When I was organizing, I put the pegs, the nice metal long pegs, somewhere that I can't figure out. So I've got this beautiful board with no pegs
With no
right
pics.
now. Now wait. It's in this room somewhere. It is in this room somewhere. I swear to you, because I don't take my crafting stuff out of this room. It is
Uh-huh.
always here. But at the time, I must have thought this is a logical place to put these pegs. Now, the logical place would have been where I store this.
Yeah.
No, no, it's not on that shelf. It's not in the basket next to it. Nope, not there.
It's in a
So,
drawer somewhere.
no, it's not in a drawer because I don't do drawers except for office supplies.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course, what what would be so fun is I open up my drawer and I go, "Oh, wait, there they are."
There they are.
Okay, that would just make me have to get off right now and do some swearing.
Time
But
to go
no, I don't.
now.
I
We want
gotta
to keep this
go
a PG
because it's
program.
but it's somewhere in this room. These beautiful pegs that go with that beautiful board.
Oh,
Someday I will find them, probably after I finish making my last granny square
yeah,
and have
yeah.
blocked it some other way. Oh
When
well.
you don't care about it anymore, that's when you're gonna find it. That's when I find everything.
Well, see, that's the funny thing is even when I don't care about it, I still can't find it. I just it'll randomly come to mind and I'll go, "Oh, you don't really? I really should find those pegs." And I'll move stuff and go to another place I haven't looked for a while. No,
Because
no.
even if you wanted to downsize and you're like, I want to gift this to somebody that would be able to use it. Well, they can't use it because I don't have any pegs to go with it. I still have to
There's the
keep it.
thing. I can't even let it go because
And you
it's
know what's gonna happen?
incomplete.
The day that you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this in the fireplace. We're gonna make a beautiful fire out of this.
Oh,
The next day you would find the
okay, please don't. No,
so
that
don't ever
no.
burn it.
I'm not gonna do that.
You know, when the zombie
That's
apocalypse
awful
happens and you need to burn it because you're because we ran out of heat.
because there's no more
You're
electricity.
like, I'm gonna find these really handy little poles that I can kill
Oh
zombies
gosh.
with now.
Here's the awful thing is I know exactly what it looks like.
Oh,
So
that's
I'll see
funny.
a piece of plastic sticking out and go, "That has to be it." No.
Not it. I know. I live with that disappointment all the time too. I actually have one of those. It's not quite as pretty as yours. It was gifted to me by someone. And it has these like plastic covered screw in ones. So I have to
Oh,
screw
yeah?
my poles in every time that I use it. And I don't care what size square I'm trying to make. I cannot figure out how to put the things in there so that it actually
Yeah.
blocks my block. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if I've got the European version and it doesn't match any of my measurements. I don't know what's going on, but I cannot figure out how to use this thing. It hangs in a beautiful bag on my wall because
It's a
I can't
beautiful
figure it out.
decoration.
It is. It's pretty.
All right, I got one more,
Okay,
and then
cool.
then we're done. Okay. This is one of my favorite tools.
Oh, what is
And
that?
I had them just laying all over my, sewing machine and really didn't know how many I had. So I got a little wicker basket and I
Uh-huh.
put them in it, but, these are blocking combs.
Oh, I've always wanted to
These
get some of
are
those.
awesome. These are awesome. 4 to a pack.
Uh-huh.
I think I have, like, 5 or 6 packs. I probably need to get more, but they are absolutely when I was blocking the squares for my granny stitch sampler blanket,
Uh-huh.
holy cow, it was great. I don't know if you've seen, you probably have, it's used for knitting more than it is for crochet, I think. But those long, flexible metal rods that you,
I use those.
um yeah, for a shawl or something,
I use them
right?
for my
This
blankets too.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're then I don't have to use 8 billion pins.
This helps because it's more stable
Yeah,
than blocking pins, right? But I love these,
I need to get
and
some of
this
those.
yeah, yeah, they are a must. That's all I got.
Oh, I'm
Those are the
sorry that I
tools
don't
I
have
found.
anything more exciting. Like I said, I just by the time that I had was planning on getting my stuff organized, I already had my accident for the week and now we're, just this is what it is. So, yeah, I know that all of us have got stuffed in stuff in our rooms and just moving a couple things around and finding but just using the tools, learning to use the stuff that we actually find because we bought it for a reason. You were
Mhm.
saying that sometimes you've got something on the list here and it
I
resonated with
do. Well,
me.
how to store the yeah, I
And
love the fact that, I think a lot of times why do we buy this stuff? Why do we have it in the first place? Well, maybe we had a project that required something like that. Or like me, I go
yes,
to a festival or the store and I find this guy and go, "That looks really cool. I think I'll get one." And then it's
yes,
in a box somewhere, right?
yes. That's where I I think the majority of my things have come from either a subscription box and they sent me these little
Mhm.
gifts and I'm like, "Oh, isn't that
Yep,
cute?" And I sent it over here and
yep.
I'm like, "Oh, I'll come back to that." I don't know where it is now. Because it sat there so long that it got cleaned, you know? And I don't know which drawer it got cleaned into, so I'm not really sure
Like
where
my
some of these things
blocking
are, but
pins.
really great little tools like that one that you had that does this. Yes. So I've got there's a cute little lamb running around here somewhere that does the like wraps per inch for your
Oh,
yarn.
yes. Yeah,
A
yeah.
little wooden lamb. I don't know where he lives in my room, but I know there's a little wooden lamb in here somewhere. And there is I have
Yeah.
one of those knitting needle where you figure out the sizes and I love it and I used to use it constantly and then one day I couldn't find it anymore. And I feel like
I
I've
know.
lost a pile of things and I don't know where they went. I really
Well,
need to
one of
go
the
through
things
this
that
room.
I thought would be, interesting just to end the episode with is how do we store these? So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna describe a couple things I've got in my office that
Mhm.
may or may not be useful to you. For instance, I have a it's from Pottery Barn. I have a unit right in front of me that has
Mhm.
pegs and stuff like that, and that's where I hang my craft scissors.
Nice.
Um, I and it had that's where I put my gauge thing and my tape measure, all the things that I use in my office all the time. So I've got that
Yeah.
on the wall to make sure that what I need is handy.
That's very
Um,
useful.
I don't have it here, but across the room, I have a little wicker basket that I put things like this in, my
Mhm.
stitch markers. That's another thing. How many times have we cleaned and found about 5,000 stitch
Oh, yeah.
markers? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the proverbial quarter in the couch. You find, right? You find all
You
these
pick
stitch
them out of your
markers.
carpeting.
Yeah, right? So find a receptacle to put those guys in.
Mhm.
I love plastic bags. While they're not, high class, at least I know what's in this bag. I know
They're
exactly what's
functional.
in there, right?
It doesn't have to be
Um,
sexy to work.
it doesn't have to be sexy. I have repurposed. Okay, here we go. Now I need to clean this out, but I used to live in Texas. Don't mess with Texas women. And this is my hook holder and pencil holder for my office. I
Texas
repurpose
women.
cups and stuff. Um, and just you can even
Mhm.
crochet stuff. There are so many patterns. You have pencil
Mhm.
holders, don't you, that you can crochet? Or some sort of circular receptacle or a
Well, they're
basket?
like jar huggers.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, to, be able even to take, like, your ball jars and decorate your ball
Mhm.
jars so that there's something pretty sitting on your shelf so that you can use it as, you can catch all your
Yeah.
crochet hooks or, if you want to put your buttons in it, that kinda stuff.
Yeah, we
I
talked
love
about that
ball
in the
jars, they're my friend.
I love them too. We talked about that in our decorate episode,
Mhm.
which was the last one we did.
Yep.
And, dedicated shelf, label everything. I've got a fancy label maker that I never use, but if I did, I would have stuff labeled.
One of those lovely tools.
Yeah, it actually has an app for that. So you type what you want in the app and then it electronically
Oh,
spits that label out. I don't know what I was thinking when I got this, and I haven't used it in enough time that I bet the app doesn't work anymore. It's just,
oh, no. That's
oh,
so
geez.
funny.
But yeah, having a dedicated space for all of this stuff is definitely your friend so that you don't get it
Yes,
mixed in with the yarn scraps again.
for sure. Alrighty. So yeah, I don't know who joined us today. I hope that you guys have gotten some good information from all of the things that we've been talking about. And if you have found anything in your stash and you want to share it and you think it's different or unique or whatever, just
Ooh, yeah.
feel free to leave some comments for us and tell us about it. We'd love to hear from you guys and we'd love to hear what, your take on what we talked about is. So other than that, is there anything else that you want to add to today's chat? What are we doing next Friday? Since it is the first Friday
Well,
in
it's the
November.
1st of November. We are actually
Uh-huh.
gonna no, we've done this entire series
Hmm.
so that we are gonna set you up for holiday gift crochet success,
Yeah. To
right? And if
organizing
I
it
get my
better.
act together, I will have a fun, handy, downloadable resource that will help you with your holiday gift planning
Nice.
as part
Yay.
of that. Now, don't hold me to it. It's been
Ways
a
to help us
week and
organize.
it's yeah? So it actually will help you plan rather than the lovely spreadsheet that I use. This is what they're getting. This person, this is what they're getting. And it's
That's funny.
the different sheets in that Excel spreadsheet are labeled by the year. So it's not
Ooh,
very pretty.
you
It's
are
functional, but
fancy though.
I'm not going to give you a downloadable spreadsheet. This is not going to, this is not what we're talking about. Something a little bit more pretty to look at. So
Yes.
hopefully that will be available after next week's episode.
Well, we look forward to
Yay.
that. That'll be super fun. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just chit chat real quick about what we've been watching this week, and we will let you guys go. Me, I've done nothing but watch things this week because I have been in bed.
Oh,
So normally I don't get into stuff with like witches and magicy kind of things. However, there is a show on Netflix called A Discovery of Witches, and it has witches and
Oh, I want to
vampires.
watch that.
Yes, and it has vampires. So I do vampires. And I'm in the third episode of season 1. There's like 3 seasons to this. I'm in like the third, and it's a very interesting show and it's very well done. So I like it and I recommend it.
Good. Good, because that's on my list.
Yes, very
Yes.
interesting. The story's well written.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was premiere week last week. So all of my network shows are back. I've been NCISing it up. Um, Elsbeth, all of that stuff. I'm a CBS fan, and there's a new show called Matlock.
Yes, how is that?
That
Have
is
you seen it?
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
And
It
I
is
love
not
her.
like Matlock of old.
Yes.
It has a huge twist in it,
Okay.
huge twist that I will not even attempt to tell you about because that would
Okay.
ruin it. But she is in her 70s.
Yes.
The actress is Kathy
Uh,
Bates.
yes, thank you. Because all I could see was misery.
I know, right? Kathy Bates, and she's in her 70s. And she is coming back to practice law and has
Okay.
kind of worms her way into this law firm that's pretty uppity, but proves that she's the person they need to have as a new. I don't know if she goes in as an intern. I don't remember that part, but she's a junior lawyer of some kind, but at the age of
Okay.
75. And she proves her worth pretty quickly. Of course, they're
Of course.
completely they completely poo-poo her. Oh, old lady doesn't know what she's talking about. Get her out of here. What is she
Yeah.
doing? But yet she does better than they do. But the huge twist, there's another show, I think this might be on ABC, called High Potential. Holy
Oh,
cow, an hour-long dramedy. It is
okay.
so funny, but it's a police procedural.
Okay.
And so it's not a comedy, it's just comedic, if that makes
Uh-huh.
sense. So the
Yeah.
lead actress
So
is
it's not
this down on her
slapsticky?
luck mom. Sorry?
It's not slapsticky?
No, not at all. No.
That's good.
Um, no, it's just the lead actress, the lead character is
Uh-huh.
this down on her luck mom who cleans a police station at night for money. Um,
I
that's her
think I've
job.
seen the commercials for that.
Yes, and she sees their murder board and goes she marks on it saying, um, she crosses out victim suspect, and and then she writes victim. The next day, they just go ballistic because somebody's written on that murder board. They see the tape, they see this woman, and apparently she's got a high IQ. She remembers everything, and of course, it's one of those she sees things that other people don't.
Okay, so
So she
she's like
gets
Monk.
ended up yeah, but the funny part is this woman has a mouth on her, not a potty mouth, but she just says what she's thinking.
Yeah,
And they kinda go, "Yeah, you're full of it," and then she ends up being right.
of course she
So
does.
they end up hiring her as a consultant, and
Okay.
the detective that she's assigned to is like, if you take the emoji face palm, that's what he's doing basically through the entire with the facial expressions. But
Oh,
she'll
funny.
say something and you'll just guffaw. It's so
Oh,
funny.
funny. Oh, cool. Well, then I'm gonna have to find that one.
Yeah, you have to find that one. That one's really cool. But I'm all in network TV right now, not, doing much of anything else.
Yeah, I
So,
we don't really watch a lot of us, it's trash reality TV, so everything is just starting up again, so we're catching up on Survivor, and I know that there's a new season of the challenges coming up, so we'll be watching that, and I call it Trip Around the World, but I know it's called something else.
The Amazing Race?
Yes, The Amazing
No?
Race.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
So that one's gonna be coming up soon, I'm sure. And Tony, he knows what all my little names are because I can never remember the actual name of the show. So like it's the Trip Around the World show. He's like, "It's not the trip around the world show.
It's not
It's
that one.
Amazing Race." And I'm like, "Okay, so the next time I say it, we both know what I'm talking about."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds like my husband. It's the show that's called, that one with so and so. Can't remember her name, but it's the one where they do XYZ and like
Yeah.
I just sit there. It's like, remember it or we're not watching it. So that's how it is.
Oh, you are a meanie.
I'm mean. I'm
You
mean. Remember it, dude. Commit it to memory. Come on.
I expect much from you. That's too
Oh my
funny.
goodness.
Alrighty.
Ugh.
Well, I gotta go and take some pills and get
Uh,
back on my ice.
what are we advocating now?
Just ibuprofen.
No, I know you need to go take care of yourself, but this has been a fabulous, fun episode. I've had fun
Yes,
sharing my stories.
I'm
I am
glad.
human.
Yeah, I love your stories because your stories sound like mine. Like I have this really cool thing, can't find it,
And
don't know
and
where it
and
is, but I
it's
know it's in this room.
yeah, it is. I've organized this room and I still when I know that when I organize the room, and it's been only a few months since I did that, that again, I was sitting there going, "This is a great place to put it." And now I
Yes,
can't find it. So this was I
that's
need to
so
go back
hilarious.
to rewind to that brain and ask it what it was thinking when it put it away.
Yeah,
So that
I'm
might
never
I
gonna
don't know.
lose it because this is so brilliant.
No, and it's not.
Oh well, it
Okay,
is
we
what it
need to let
is.
you go.
It's making my
We've
back
had a
feel a little
blast
better
with
though.
y'all.
Alrighty. Well, I hope you guys had a good time with us, and we hope to see you next Friday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're here every week, and
We
we will see
are.
you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.